Okay, I'm continuing my reading of the standard works, and what this is in the series, I'm reading through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order according to events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be jumping around a bit as I go through. Right now, I am still reading in the book of Genesis, and a final note, when I read in the Bible, I will be including portions from what we call the Joseph Smith translation, which is an inspired correction or translation of the Bible in which Joseph Smith restored those portions of the Bible that had been lost over time. I am picking up in this video on chapter 33 in Genesis, so let us get on with it. Chapter 33. Jacob and Esau meet and are reconciled. Esau receives Jacob's presents. Jacob settles in Canaan, where he builds an altar. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel and unto the 2 handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindmost. And he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. Okay, so just so what's good. Esau's coming, and so what he does, he puts Bilhah out with her kids, her 2 sons, Zilpah with her 2 sons, then Leah with her 7 children, or 6 sons and her daughter, and then Rachel's in the back. The reason for this, and it seems a little callous, but the reason for it is those in the rear would have a better chance of escaping if a fight broke out. If Esau did attack, the ones in the back will have a better chance of escaping. It's not that he doesn't love his other sons and his wives, but Rachel, as I have said, Rachel was a little bit more precious to him. He had a little bit more affection for her. So he placed her where she would have the easiest chance of escaping. And again, this wasn't so that Bilhah and Zilpah would kind of take the brunt of Esau's attack. Now, Jacob's there to take the brunt of the attack. He has his servants and his men with him. If there is a battle, then it will be between Jacob and Esau and the warriors that each of them have. So if a battle breaks out, all the wives retreat. But he does want to make sure that Rachel has just a little bit better chance. Anyways, verse 4. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him, and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children which God hath graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, What meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau comes, and I love this, because he comes with an army, but he doesn't even attempt to. He has no animosity in him. He just comes. It's almost like he came with a police escort. Not with the intent of conquering or attacking, but he brought some protection. And he sees Jacob. They embrace very happily. He sees his brother's wives and children. He gets introduced to them, and they pay proper respect to Esau. He is the eldest son. Even though Jacob got the birthright, Esau is still the eldest. And they come and they pay proper respect to Esau. And then Esau asks, What's with all these animals that you're bringing? And Jacob says, Well, I wasn't quite sure how you'd feel about me anymore right now, so I thought I'd butter you up a bit. Verse 9. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord, unto Seir. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the flock that are with me. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. Okay, so Esau says, oh, Jacob says, I'm trying to butter you up, And he says, don't worry about it. We're good. I've got plenty. Esau's also been growing and gaining in his wealth and stuff. He said, I've got plenty. And Jacob said, no. I gave them to you as a present. Take them. And Esau takes them. But then I love this. Esau says, come on, let's go together. I can help defend you. And Jacob says, we can't go too fast. I've got some young kids here and my flocks. The sheep are about to give birth, young calves and stuff. We just can't go too fast. You go on ahead and we'll come up behind you. When we get there, we'll celebrate. And Esau accepts this. And I like that. I think Jacob was still being a little bit cautious because he still remembered what had happened before. And he doesn't want to be led in by Esau into an ambush. He's willing to accept Esau and Esau's sincerity, but he's still a little bit cautious. So, verse 16. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth, and built him an house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth, which Succoth means booths. This is like stalls and stuff. Verse 18. And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram and pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel of a field, where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar, and called it Elohe Israel. And that means El, meaning God, is the God of Israel. So Jacob is trying to kind of set up a more permanent settlement than Abraham and Isaac have done. Abraham and Isaac seem to have traveled around a little bit with the herds, but Jacob's trying to set up a more permanent establishment here. And he's just outside Shechem. He actually buys the field where he's going to set up his tents. He's not just camping out and then leaving. He doesn't just camp out like Abraham used to come into a place and get permission, and he'd camp out for a few years and then move on to the next place. Jacob bought the land. He wants to be there. And you'll also know he says 100 pieces of money, because all money was the same value, because it was all based upon weight. So a shekel of gold was the same value as a shekel of silver, because they both weighed the same. So it didn't matter what kind of money you used, as long as it was all of the proper weight. And we will leave that there. It's an interesting story. I enjoy it. And we will see how it continues on.